All right, good to be back, and it's still crossfire with Dakwa and Ishoma. Obviously, Ishoma is not here. I'm so used to introducing our show that way, and never mind that Ishoma is not here. But I have to just continue to say that so that you won't think that Ishoma has left the show. You know, so I need to always constantly remind you that Ishoma is still a very, 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 very regular anchor on this show, and but she's just away, you know, for a while, and hopefully maybe tomorrow she'll be on the show. I know a lot of you have missed her. I miss her too. You know, all the problems that we create on the show. It's just the show. We are friends, and we have no problem. And you know, almost every time you want to talk about Nigeria, something really comes up. You just don't know where that energy and that passion comes from, and you just realize that your conversation, just suddenly gets heated, and you are wondering, what are we really talking about? What's my stake? What is your stake? What is our nation? And every time that we come up with so much passion to discuss about some goings on in the country, it's not out of place. It's just because we love this country and we want Nigeria to survive. I have an interesting guest on the show, he's been here, but he's a he's a big man. So, sometimes I don't know what to call him, a chief, an ambassador, I don't know. No appropriate inogije like in Yoruba, to really put to his name. But he's a friend and he's passionate about this country. He's based in the United Kingdom, but he comes home more often to just let us know exactly what it feels to be living in the diaspora. He's no other person but Jermaine Sanwo-Olu. Is the leader of the One New Nigeria. That's his latest project, and believe you me, he's passionate about this and he's doing everything to make sure that One New Nigeria emerge. And we'll be talking around, this new concept of his and his belief, that this country can actually come to become one new Nigeria, where ethnicity, religious matters, and so many others, cynicism, everything that is causing the divide can be taken out, and then we have one formidable entity called Nigeria, and we'll stand together. Jermaine, good to have you on the show this morning.
Good to have you.
Awesome. It's been a long while.
Yeah, it has been.
So good to have you back. This is your show. We started it all together. And all of that.
You've done really well. I'm really impressed, and I love what you're doing here.
Thank you so very much, Jermaine. Good to have you. I was watching one of your interviews on Ben TV in the United Kingdom, and I'm like, oh, that's my man.
Yeah.
He hasn't forgotten home.
No.
And all of that. Now, good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Now, Jermaine, let's quickly go straight into the show. I'll be taking your thoughts, on one or two stories making headlines, and then we can go, into our major conversation for today. We hopefully think a friend of ours who is supposed to be on the show will be joining us, Barrister Ufeli Evans. Hopefully, I hope traffic is not really messing having him on the show up this morning. But we'll see how we go on the show. Now, federal government approves payment of 25.9 billion naira to discos. I'm sure this should be something completely out of the space for you. You live in an environment where almost everything works. Electricity is constant. I remembered, my very first time in the United Kingdom. I woke up on a Sunday morning and we're preparing, for church. And normally it's 1 hour ahead of Nigeria.
Yes.
And I woke up and I quickly jumped into the common room, where my cousin, in my cousin's apartment. Yeah. And what I wanted to do was to quickly iron. And it was asking me that question. Sincerely, in my subconscious, I was just doing that because I felt NEPA could take light anytime. And it happens to many of us. These stories are very real.
Yeah,
I don't have any reason to say this if it didn't happen to me, and all of that. But really and truly, the power holding company got unbundled in the last administration. We have the transmission, we have the distribution, and then we have the generation. And so the Gencos and the Discos have been empowered or mobilized, or whatever term we want to use, to actually help solve the problem of energy in Nigeria. But unfortunately, we still have a very major problem that we're sitting on. You can imagine, that the Nigeria that we are today is promising us that by 2020, we're going to have 10,000 regular, megawatts of generation. When in this country we need close to about 100,000, and that 100,000 is just sufficient. we have no reservation. It's just sufficient to solving our energy problem. And federal government is still busy giving money to discos. And I'm wondering, I'm just wondering.
Well, it's kind of like a very difficult situation to analyze because these discos, gencos have had a lot of problems from the time they were unbundled, so to say. We know NEPA had a bad connotation. Now it's now power holding company. It seems they are holding it and it's not going anywhere. Because the problem at hand right now is that the generation, they're generating power, you understand, through the gas turbines, through the dams and all that. But the distribution and thereafter the transmission is now where the problem actually lies. Now we have to look at it that why is the government spending so much money on these people? Femi Falana San actually said that there's a lot of problem when it comes to these gencos, that these people actually used their contracts as collaterals to borrow money. That's what he alleged. He also said that now that they got the money, the government is now giving them more money to run the companies. So we actually asked ourselves that why are they giving them more money to keep on running a private business that's meant to do good for the public? They need to be able to restructure their management systems and effective delivery of that essential service that will lead to production and even more industrialization in the country. Because like it or not, nations like China, America, even UK where I'm based, electricity is common. And for us to not be able to meet our basic electricity demands is going to have a negative effect on the overall system and restructuring, and also having this great one new Nigeria we're hoping to see, whereby electricity will not be a concern. Because there are many innovative minds in Lagos, in Anambra, in all around the nation, from north to the south, who actually want to produce, but are limited by the lack of electricity. They say that where there is light, there is life. We need more light in this country.
Peradventure, that's why there's so many dark areas in the country. And when we say dark areas in leadership, dark areas in policy formation, dark areas in transparency. Anyway, when it is dark, there's no transparency.
Even the name disco connotes a dark place. That's when Balano said, where they dance in the darkness. We don't want to dance in darkness any longer. We want the discos to do their job. Let's start having fun in the light.
Halls, really, back in the day, they're always, you know, really very dark.
Sporadic lights flashing there and then. What a name to give a company, but we hope they can get their act in order. And every sector of the economy of the nation will begin to see light. We're talking about revamping our agricultural sector. They need to be electricity actually given to that sector. Because you see, it's not just getting the crops from the ground. It also has to do with the whole value chain. You know, the storing of the grain, storing of the fresh produce, also now to distribution, even to the marketplace. If electricity is not given, some of those things will perish because, as you know, they're perishable goods. So there has to be light everywhere for there to be life.
All right. It's just really very mind-boggling that we still have a repetition of what has been happening. Government keeps spending, to ensure that we have power in Nigeria. And up until now that we have private, participation, hoping that, private participation is empowering, the private sector. But what private sector participation is supposed to ease, operations and get things better. But unfortunately, we still have a very major problem. Government is still giving them money in the name that, okay, we are demonstrating that federal government is supporting the private sector.
There must be competence. We need to know these people. Nobody actually, I can't remember seeing the bidding process for any of these discos and all that. Who are the people behind it? Who are the people fronting it? You understand? That's what we'll be able to see between the lines and know that were these contracts just given to people that were friendly with the government at that time and the government right now? Because if that is the case, then we have a vacuum. There's a void in leadership and also a void in competence, technical know-how to be able to manage these systems, and also organizational structure so that they can be able to say, okay, this is how we know what it takes to build and to generate electricity for the country. Now, we're only talking about dam, we're only talking about hydroelectricity. What about solar electricity?
Going fully hybrid.
Exactly. What about the gas turbines, renewable energies? All these things we need to start investigating. What about turning into waste to energy? We have so much waste in this country. Are they thinking about innovative solutions? And that's what we're saying in the one in Nigeria, that there has to be a restructuring even of the electricity system in Nigeria. Because you have to look at it that is it only the government that has control of it? Why can't the states be given control to generate the electricity? Why can't different different regions.
No, you're going back to restructuring and devolution of powers and all of that. The
It
moment
all
you start,
connects.
you start to talk,
It all connects.
From that angle. I can imagine. Now, Alison Madueke is in your second country.
Yes, she is.
And I'm just wondering what the tempo is in the United Kingdom, knowing fully well that she's been alleged, to have laundered money. And do you have any recent information about how this trial is going in the United Kingdom?
Well, everything is still done a bit in secrecy, and we're just hearing comments here and there, what is actually going on. We know that she said she wants to come back home and defend her name. We know the British government is saying that, they are investigating her. There was a report by Al Jazeera that showed, like, it was a £3 million property with a lot of flats that were alleged that belongs to her. Some people actually doing a tour of all the corrupt, all the properties in London that are being funded by corrupt officials from Nigeria and around the world. So we can see the Madueke's problems right now, that the allegations of corruption against her are very, very strong. In the UK, people are watching. They are saying what's actually going on. But in Nigeria, I think I read in the papers today that they said that someone said that if they can extradite Diziani if they want at any time. The question now is that, is she going to face trial there? Will she experience what Ibobi experienced and go to jail for a couple of years? But you have to consider your human right, fundamental human right too. They claim that she's suffering from cancer.
No, don't you think it is better for our past leaders, public office holders who laundered Nigerian money and who, in the process of doing that, have killed a lot of people because, health facilities that have to have been well-funded, and then a lot of, non-education has taken place over time because monies that are meant to be spent probably to educate people. A lot of people have died due to insecurity, monies that are meant to be. Don't you think Nigeria prison is better for, to be experienced? I'm just thinking.
Yeah, that's a good point. We should take them to the ICC, International Criminal Courts, because what they've done, you're right, is actually a crime against humanity. And we believe that they are proven, they are innocent or to proven guilty, but we believe that the judicial process in America, in England or America, wherever those monies are, should actually work. And when they come to Nigeria, they should also either face some local, so they should take some kind of prosecution for the crimes that were committed locally, not just internationally. Because we saw what happened to, I believe, Governor Ibobi. He actually served his time there, but coming back home, he was celebrated, he was hailed as a champion.
You think somebody who actually spent 6 years in Kirikiri, or in Banti,
he will come out here. He will come out born again or changed. He will come out a priest.
He will preach the word.
He will preach the word because his life would have been transformed. As they say in Yoruba, that Iyamati Je. You understand?
It's two ways. It's double-edged. It's double-edged.
Absolutely.
And all of that. Anyway, it's really not funny, but sometimes, we try to douse the tension, especially when we're talking about this country. Things have really gone so bad. Last on the list is the Senate Committee to investigate, the Inspector General of Police for alleged corruption. Now, we have allegations that Ibrahim Idris, the Inspector General of Police, have diverted, funds, has promoted people, alleged, promoted people not following due process. We have a very major issue trending right now that a young officer was impregnated by the IG, and unfortunately, the family of the officer are pressing charges and all of that. I think it belongs to a religion that can actually marry as many, except he's denying the pregnancy. And then we begin to wonder. But you see, let's just talk a little about the character of our leaders and the quality of leaders that Nigeria probably have experienced in recent past. If we go down memory lane, we have had fantastic people. Sir, Amadou Bello, we have had Nnamdi Azikiwe. It's not that they didn't have a portion of their own bad side. But really and truly, I think a nation comes first, for those people. They fought for independence, they got it, they were about a Nigeria of all, of everybody, as it were, and all of that. So
absolutely. Because
the character of our leaders.
You know, that's why in the One New Nigeria movement, we believe in something, that we believe in personal transformation for national reformation. That for there to be a change in Nigeria, there must be a change in us. That's why we're not just going to do the campaign on TV, using social media and photos and all that. We are going to also focus on transformational leadership development, because we realize that in the political sector, in the spiritual, in all levels of governance and even of society, there is a vacuum in leadership. There is a deficit in leadership. And that's why you see the situations come with the IG or police, whereby his morality is being questioned, his integrity is being questioned. That's why his position in this place of influence is now being questioned. You cannot separate your private from your public life. You understand? You hear of situations in America whereby the mayor of New York or something like that does something, has a scandal. Immediately he resigns, he apologizes, and it's gone down because your credibility will be in question. In this situation right now, in this administration, we are seeing a situation whereby he actually promoted people without due process. And this is spoiling the whole image of the government. Because not just is the IG implicated in this now, alleged to be involved in this. We also hear just a day ago when it came to the Minister of State of Petroleum, Ibekuchiku, saying that
NNPC corruption in
exactly, corruption in NNPC, and there
Minister for State for Petroleum under the supervisory influence
of the president. And we see whereby the GM, the NNPC, is now committing insubordination and now trying to do what he wants to. That there was promotion of people, so many people in the NNPC, and that was put forward to the president without following due process of consulting the board of the NNPC. So we can see that even though this administration is saying that they are fighting corruption, but also a form of corruption is whereby you don't follow due process. You try and dilly-dally, you try and cut corners, and this has a negative impact on the way the government is being perceived, because these are people that are close to him. Now we have to see this IG, since he's the one meant to be securing us in the civil domain, society, then it should be someone that has a lot of integrity. It should be someone that you're able to stand up
unquestionable
character. You understand? And it should be able to deliver the security, focus on that, and ensure that Nigeria is safer. Because if we just keep on seeing this kind of scandal,
it's costing us a lot of distraction.
Exactly. You know, we need to fight more serious things rather than hearing stories about him impregnating someone and then persecuting him
and all of that.
You get what I'm saying?
It's really very unfortunate. He's still crossfire with Dapo Anishoma, and my name is Dapo Banjo. I have Jermaine Sanwo-Olu on this show, and it's crossfire. We're just talking about Nigeria. And like I said, if you check on the screen, you will see our phone numbers, our social media handles, and you can just be a part of the show. Let's take your comment on one or two of our conversations on the show. Now, Jermaine, let's quickly go to the business of the day. I have a lot of questions for you, and I want us to be able to see if we can use, this platform as usual to get people's buy-in into this dream of the one new Nigeria. Now, let's take it from this way. I want us to talk about the roadmap to the one new Nigeria. What is the roadmap to the new? What exactly is the one new Nigeria? What is this all about?
Well, the One New Nigeria movement is about promoting unity and celebrating our diversity. Because we believe that Nigeria is a beautiful country. It's really beautiful people. I believe that the future of Nigeria is actually beautiful and bright too. And what we're trying to ensure right now is that we ensure to engage stakeholders in the community, influentials, even regular people on the street, to start talking about that new Nigeria. There's been a lot of hate speech, a lot of negative comments coming out in the media. We don't want hate speech again. We want love speech. We want to change the paradigm of Nigerians from thinking negative about their country to start speaking positively and thinking positive about the country. I know to build my country, diaspora PR, and for you to reach this level of success, you have to think positively, you have to act positively, and you have to speak life into your situation. If we begin to do that as Nigerians, we shall begin to see change in our nation. Now, the One New Nigeria movement, I remember Apostle Tunde Bakare in his State of the Nation address on Sunday, he said one thing. Exactly, he said something, and this is an idea I formed back in the UK without even knowing this kind of thing, because I believe there's a change in the system, a change in the spiritual and also in the physical, that this is imperative. He said that he sees a new north rising. He says he sees a new south rising. You understand? United. And I believe that is what is going to happen in Nigeria, whereby we're going to have new ways of coexisting. Nigeria is one as it is right now. People are agitating for various sections and different factions, but we're going to stay one. Now, we can't stay one unless we renegotiate our unity. We come together and say that these are the terms of unity. Are we going to go back to the 1963 Constitution? Are we going to adopt the 2007 Pronaco Constitution? Or are we going to
we go back to 1963?
1963, exactly. Are we going to adopt the 2014 Confab report? There are lots of options right now for us to choose from to build this new Nigeria. We cannot keep on saying that the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable. Yes, our sovereignty is not negotiable, but for us to stay united, as things are with iPod, Arewa, the Oduas, everybody clamoring for succession, for independence, to be on their own, we must say, you know what, we need a one Nigeria. But it cannot be the way it is. It must be a new Nigeria. That's why we came up with the One New Nigeria campaign to try and promote unity and also celebrate our diversity.
Okay, awesome. I didn't interject because I may have to puncture some of your ideologies and all of that. Not because I want to play the devil's advocate. No. It's just that sometimes I wonder why, if some of these things can happen. I wonder if we can walk this talk. I wonder if we will have a collective, an encompassing buy-in into this idea. How do you see a one new Nigeria emerge in a country where injustice is the order of the day? Our Nigerian flag is green, white, green, and it's saying peace, unity, and progress, but there's injustice in the system. I'm going to be taking Jermaine's thought on that when we come back from this short break. Stay with us and join us again. All right, we're back, and it's Crossfire Earn Channel 259 on DSTV and UHF 57 on our terrestrial platform. This is Crossfire, and you can always call in and let us know exactly what you think about some of our conversations in the studio. Like I promised you that we have a barrister who is coming to lend his thought on the One New Nigeria, and that everybody is clamoring for. Is it possible for us to have a One New Nigeria? Jermaine Sowolu was trying to really establish the basis for a One New Nigeria, and since he's passionate about it, so he's the conveyor, he's the leader, and we will try, if, like I told him and I promised him, maybe I'm being pessimistic, I wouldn't know, but I don't see a One New Nigeria emerging, in anytime soon. But we have another guest in the studio, Barrister Evans Ufeli is in the studio with us, and we will try as much as possible to see if we can balance this conversation today. Barrister Ufeli, good to have you on Crossfire this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
You're welcome. And Jermaine is still very, very, very much around. And One New Nigeria. 4 days ago, Nigeria celebrated 57th independence anniversary, and people are clamoring that, okay, going forward, there's a vision 2020, and there are so many things tied to that. The economy is tied to that. The development of Nigeria is tied to that. The advancement of Nigeria is tied to that. Having a One New Nigeria is tied to the vision 2020. Nigeria should rank one of the best, or most valiant 20 economics in the world by 2020, even though the leadership of the country at the moment is promising that 10,000 megawatts will be constant by 2020. Do you see a One New Nigeria in any time from now? Jermaine can see that.
Yes.
I will tell you what I can see, but let us just know what you are saying.
Well, a One New Nigeria is possible.
Okay.
But in between that possibility is work.
Okay.
Because if we do not sit down to address our differences, cross the lines and dot the T's properly, because if you look at it, the question of our differences has posed a lot of problems for us as a country. I remember during the First Republic, when you had a regional system, Okay, I mean, each region had their own constitution. Each region were separate with their own. I mean, as at that time, the Eastern region was the greatest economy in Africa. Then the country was still one. Before they came with the Decree 34 unification and brought Nigeria into one centralized entity with a federal structure that is theoretically presented to the public as a structure of diffusion of power, but it's just a parade of a centralization. You understand? So the major issue here is this. One Nigeria is possible, but bringing one Nigeria to the fore, if you look at Catalonia, look at Cameroon, you know, it's about economic injustice. If we have unwittingly balkanized Nigeria into geographical zones, which is not even in the constitution, if we have unwittingly, and each region have, you know, there are states, six states, exactly. And a particular region is lacking in one, even though geography is so unkind to that region by virtue of population and landmass. But then you have created an unconstitutional acceptable parameter, which is geopolitical zone. Then you should begin to address the economic injustice of that. If you are talking about one Nigeria, your appointment must be all-inclusive.
Barrister Ofeli, I mean, as my culture is, I think you have a bias to the East. I think so. It's just a feeling.
Well, yeah, because we're talking about justice.
Okay.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Anywhere in the world, once there is injustice, you will hear the cry. Okay? Look at it from history, from Bible days, from look at the Songhai Empire, if you want to look at the history of Africa and all that, and you want to track it down to what we have today. We have issues on ground. Let us not shut our eyes down to these issues. Let us not say because this particular region have this. I know that from the beginning, the Eastern region had a fair deal of the crops of issues in Nigeria, but at some point they had issues, okay? But then the issues must be addressed. If you say that we went to a civil war where we lost a lot of people, you understand, and we need not go there again. And the issues that created the war, you have not addressed it. I actually don't understand what they're saying. One Nigeria is possible. One united Nigeria, strong force is possible. Okay. But then we must address the issues and the indices of injustice.
Don't you think that the agitations coming from the southeast of Nigeria is intentional? Because, I mean, I'm saying it's intentional. I mean, this question is for Jamin. I'm saying it's intentional and deliberate, and that is because they have seen a level of willingness in the Buhari-led government to probably enshrine justice in the country. Why is it coming at this time? Why didn't we have this agitation during the Jonathan-led administration? I mean, it's one big Nigeria. How come we never really had this drum beat so loudly and so agitatingly during the last administration? Why now?
Well, it's just been crescendoing to this point. It has been building up to this point.
Okay.
You must know that Nnamdi Kanu did not just start his campaign regarding the IPOB movement, the succession of the Alpha. He has been doing that in the UK 4 or 5 years ago. He has been talking and traveling the world. But you see what? And this even the Biafra situation is not just now. It goes back to close to 50 years ago. You know, when the first Biafra and our civil war actually happened. So you can see that everything is just crescendoing, and the responsibility has fallen on the plate of Mr. President right now to address that issue of when it comes to restructuring our own entity. I agree with what he's saying about the one Nigeria is possible, but it will involve work from everybody. Teamwork makes the dream work. Make the dream of
I have a problem with this work.
Coming.
How can Nigeria solve its ethnicity problem? Now, how do we solve the problem of our religious differences and bring about a one new Nigeria?
Now, see, in the One Nigeria movement, we believe in promoting unity and celebrating our diversity, not complaining about our diversity. Because the diversity should be our strength. People, different minds, different ideas, different cultures, different paradigms, different ways of seeing things should actually add and make us a richer and a stronger culture. If we see that as a problem, then we're going to have problems. Now, the thing about national identity is an issue too. Because Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu even said it. He said that at the one point in time, did we come together to negotiate what it means to be Nigerian? It doesn't mean that I'm Igbo first and I'm Nigerian. We have to have the identity. If true federalism, whereby different states, different units, federation units come together and say they want to form a whole, they want to come together under different set of laws to be able to govern themselves with a central government or a federal government. And as I said, and when it comes to the 34 and what happened to the unitary system that the military tried to impose to control things, now we have to break things up and say, you know what does it mean to be Nigerian? Our identity is paramount. In America, you have the Texans, you have the people from the south, people from the north. They are all around the place, but they are first Americans. Can we first be Nigerians before we are Igbo, before we are Hausa, before we are Efik, before we are from the Middle Belt? Can we first be Nigerians? Can we believe in the unity of our nation? Can we believe that what unites us is stronger and better than what divides us? Let's start thinking that way. Let's start seeing a new picture of the future we want to see in Nigeria.
I was in a forum. I was in a forum, and we were talking about where to start from. That was the question I asked you. Where do we start from to begin to build one new Nigeria? And the question,
the Constitution.
I doubt it. I am completely. I
Yeah,
don't support your position. You can defend that, but I don't support your position.
I have a clue to this. I have a clue to this. I too don't believe it's the Constitution.
Okay.
I believe it's education. Okay. And re-education.
Okay.
The problem we've had over the years is that those who have been around before now have sold to the younger generation that divisible entity that Nigeria is.
Okay.
Or that Nigeria seems to be. Now, we must talk to the old, who saw the war, who were born a little bit after the war. Let them teach the young that irrespective of our differences and the mistakes of the past, you understand, we are one and we are one, okay? Now let's begin to have fusion. Let's make the NYSC program stronger. Let's create more program for integration. You understand? Because we have already intermarried. Marriage has already created a strong bond. Okay, now we need
even place of residence. Is even
now we need socio-economic programs. Okay, even the Eastern region we're talking about, they are better off in a one Nigeria. Because if you look at it, the Easterners are the most successful Nigerians. If you do statistics.
By your
No, not by your
no, by
count. If you count,
by your bias.
No, not bias.
By your position.
I'm not even from there.
Okay, by your position.
What I mean, what I mean is this. What I mean is this. When you are talking about wealth and you count people, what I'm building at is not. I'm not saying they are better. I'm saying they are better off in a one Nigerian concept because they actually have a very small portion of the landmarks. Okay. The said portion is not very fertile in land, so they are all over the place doing business, commerce and industry. You can't take it away from them. Okay?
Exactly.
You understand? I'm not trying to please them or to talk well. What I'm saying is that we must begin to understand that each of this region we have, they are better off in a complete Nigeria, in a bigger Nigeria, because that is where the market is.
Okay. Let's just take this thought from Michael, and then we continue from the studio. Hello, good morning, Michael.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you on the show.
I'm Michael, calling from Sulere.
All right, Michael, talk to us.
I thought that what is really different from television.
Can you come out more audibly?
I say the question they asked on the radio. I thought that it's from radio I'm hearing, but it's not the same thing.
Okay. We came to watch.
Okay.
Radio.
All right.
Now, you know, when they say something, I'm talking about, both of you saying that it's not the Constitution. Well, there may be other things, but I believe we should start from there. You know, what governs our existence as a nation is the Constitution.
Yeah.
What brought us from a military rule to a civilian rule is the Constitution. You know, what made the 1963 the nation at 1963 great was the constitution we had in place. It is the document that I'm coming.
What has separated us, what has not even allowed leadership to do the right thing,
let me explain.
is because some of the things that needs to be done are not even included in the constitution.
I'm coming. So, exactly, that's what you have said now.
Yeah.
Now, if the foundation be faulty, what can the righteous do? Orientation, re-education, all these things are, when it comes to about righteousness, being right. Now, the foundation of our existence is the constitution. We have to renegotiate it and say that how would Nigeria work best? The PONACO said let's have 18 federating units that come together and form one nation. The CONFAB said that we should have 6 geopolitical zones that have different component units coming together as one. The 1963 had what we call the 6 regions. A lot of them were independent, and as the barrister, the learned fellow said, you understand, they all had their different constitutions and how they actually operated. You can see the Bible of our nation is the constitution. Now you cannot start from Z and expect to have great results. You must start from A, B, C, D. President upon president, block upon block, build a great nation, and that's why I believe it's so. If the constitution gives more power to a certain segment based on local government, based on geographic landmass, based on population, more benefits than the other people. If they say in the educational system that the certain sectors will have more privilege than other people to get into education systems, there's a question about that, and that's why I believe, and I'll end with this. In this thought is that for the Buhari administration to experience success, it wants to have success in military, when it comes to security, when it comes to economy, when it comes to employment. A restructured Nigeria is the solution to all Buhari's problems.
Okay, fantastic. Let's take your last comment.
Yeah,
I mean, we lost time on the show.
I want a situation where that chapter 2 of the Constitution, talking about our socio-economic right from section 13, subsection 1 down to, we talk about the fact that the sovereignty belongs to the people, through which government derive her legitimacy. That the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. That is the Constitution. Now, in that socio-economic constitution, we have all the issues outlined there are issues of economic importance for the citizen. But do you know what? Section 6, subsection 6C of the Constitution brought an ouster clause and said that the government can only do that as at when practicable. What is when practicable is not defined by the Constitution. Okay, so now you have until government make that particular part justiciable, because you cannot take government to court on those issues, and that forms the primary basis of our existence. So, but if you cannot take a government to court to that effect, then it means that it is just there like just a waterlog. You don't have any constitutional rights or to take government to court to enforce it.
All right.
So until we make it enforceable, we are still not where we are.
All right. Thanks so very much, gentlemen. I'll take a last word from you because we have to go right now. Make it like 10 seconds.
Thank you very much. I really believe in a one new Nigeria. I believe that many people out there believe in one new Nigeria. Let's work together. Let's build together. Let's make that reality, that our dream of the one new Nigeria, our basic reality. Visit oneunigeria.org and join the team. Let's negotiate and let's work together to make this a reality.
Thank you very much. This One New Nigeria continues tomorrow on Crossfire. Join us again. It's 9 to 10 a.m. in the morning. You can watch us on channel 259 on DSTV and UHF 57. And we'll be back with another very sizzling, interesting conversation on the show. We'll take a video right now about One New Nigeria. I believe in the dream, and you should believe in it too. We'll go right now.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love her.